loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're seeing my face for the first time, hi, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Masandra Mustafa, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for clicking and thank you for coming back. Thank you. We're actually at 14K subscribers. Can you guys just imagine? Like the growth is just it's going so well, and I want to take this opportunity and I want to take time out to just thank you guys so much for the love and support that you've been showing me and giving to my channel for the longest time. For the longest time. So, like you've already seen from the title, I got a lot of requests after I made my open shell sweater tutorial. A lot of people were asking how you can actually turn that into a dress or even into a skirt. So this tutorial is not going to be about a skirt, open shell skirt. It's going to be about a dress, and I'm just going to walk you guys through the process of how you can actually make yourself one. Mine is long; it goes all the way around my ankle. You can see it because of was the most asked question I had in that tutorial on how you can go ahead and increase and decrease for this stage. So I did show you guys one of the easiest way you can do it. Again, there are other methods as well. So let me know if you guys would like to see a tutorial on other methods on how you can go ahead and increase and decrease. But again, I love the fitting. It came out so well. As you can see, it's snatched. The dress is just snatched. It's basically hugging every part of my body. And again, you're gonna see every instruction in this tutorial. So it's actually very easy. If you've made yourself one of the open shell sweater, then this is gonna be an easy cake for you. And I know a lot of people have because I've been seeing the tags, I've been seeing the pictures. Just keep sending them. I love to see you guys recreate my designs. I really love that. That's my favorite thing at the moment. Love seeing the tags and the videos and the pictures and as well. So if you've already made yourself one of that would be easy for you to just like go through this because you already know the open shell pattern and the multiple of seven as well. But I did use a medium weight yarn and I used the black because I actually have somewhere I want to wear this dress to. That's the reason why I made it again. So I had to use black because that was the color I had in mind. So it might be a bit difficult for you to see the stitches because again I'm using a blacks yarn, but again feel free, like I mentioned it throughout the video, to go back to the first sweater I made with this pattern because I did use orange and that is more visible for you to see. But I think it's just something that is really, really easy. And then I explain the process as well. So don't panic. Do not panic. And if you have any questions, feel free to also ask me and I'll definitely make time to answer the questions. I did use three different crochet hook for this pattern, and you might think, why? Why is she using three different hooks? Is that even normal? It's normal because you can see the result. You're going to know why I did. So I did use three different crochet hook. I used the medium weight yarn, three different crochet hooks for this pattern. And by the way, I used a total of 500 gram of yarn. Mine is super long, so if you're making a shorter length, then you obviously don't need that much. But I used the 2.5, 3.5, and a 4 millimeter crochet hook. So keep that in mind if you want to start the project. Make sure you have the available hooks with you. So right here I have a small note that would actually give you an idea of what we are doing. Again, I said we're using three different sizes of hook and the pattern is worked from the upper part of your body up until the desired length. Mine goes all the way below my knee again, but this is something you can switch up if you don't want it to be super long. So again, the upper part of the panel, which is for my shoulder right under my bust area, I'll show you guys how you can go about taking the measurements for that. It's just I just used my 3.5 millimeter crochet hook for that area from the shoulder area up until my under bust area, and I did a total of 9 shells. Again, you work shells in a multiple of 7. So what I did in this case was chain 63, which is a multiple of 7, and then I added 5 to it. And then I'll show you guys, if you've seen the other tutorial on this pattern, then you probably know what this is about. If you don't, no worry, I will take you guys along the process. And then right after my 9 shells, I went ahead and switched to a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook because of my waist area. Again, my waist is way smaller than my bust area, so switching to a 2.5 just actually lessen the tension and gives it a tighter tension, so it actually fits your waist area better, basically. And for that, I did a total of 6 shells because it's my waist all the way to my lower belly. So right after my 6 shells with my 2.5, I then went ahead and did switched back into my 3.5, and then I did 2 shells for my lower belly. That is for my lower belly to my hips area. So basically the first set of panel with 3.5 is from my shoulder to my underbust. The second set is from my waist to my lower belly area, and then my lower belly area I did 2 shells, which is for my lower belly to on top of my hips. And then for my hips area, I went ahead and switched to a 4 millimeter crochet hook because again this just gives it a looser tension just so it can fit around my hips area because my hips is bigger than my waist area. And then for that I did 4 shells in this case, and then I went ahead and switched back to my 3.5 after my 4 shells, and I did the remaining shells to my desired length. So I'll go right into the video and then you guys can actually see what I actually mean by this small notes that I created for you all. So to get started, I chained a total of 63 like you've seen from the note. Again, the panel is worked in two. We are working the back and the front separately. So, and the back and the front is basically the same pattern, the same instructions, the same rows, depending on how long you want it to be. So I chained a total of 63. Again, the pattern is worked in multiples of 7. So you're basically going to chain 7, 7, 7 until you have your desired measurement. So you're basically going to divide your bust measurement in whatever size your bust measurement is. Let's say for example mine is 34. I am going to divide 34 by 2, which gives me a total of 17, and you're going to just go ahead and chain multiple of 7 until it's 17 inches, and afterwards you add 5 to the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 63, which is the perfect measurement for my size. If yours is smaller, then of course you're going to chain less, and if yours is bigger, then you're going to chain more. Right here, as you can see, I have a total of 63 chains. So I'm going to go ahead and take the measurement so you guys can have an idea of what I actually mean. So again, it obviously stretches after 17, just a bit after, which is fine. It's not a big deal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain an extra 5. So you're basically, after you have your multiple of 7, which is your desired measurement, the half of your measurement, bust measurement, you're going to chain an extra 5. 3, 4, 5. So right here I have my 5. So to get started with the pattern, you're going to yarn over, skip 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, and right into this 5th chain you're going to go with your double crochet. So this chain that we skipped, 4th chain that we skipped, is actually a double crochet chain, 1 double crochet. Keep that in mind because we'll be repeating the same pattern on the opposite side of the row. After your double crochet, you're going to go ahead and chain 4, and then after chaining 4 you're going to skip 6 chains, and into the 7th you're going to go with a double crochet. So right here I'm going to go ahead and skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right into the 7th I'm going to go with a double crochet. So basically I'm going to work a V-stitch in this pattern, and then the V-stitch is double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and right into this very same 7th chain I'm going to go with another double crochet. So this basically completes our first V-stitch right there. So we have v row, and then we have shell row. So I did count everything by shells, so the v row is not really important because we are working again in shells. So we are going to count whenever we finish a shell, then we are going to count it as one shell. So right there, I'm going to go ahead and chain 4, 3, 4, and I'm also going to go ahead and skip 6 chains and into the 7th with a double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right into the 7th I'm going to go with my V stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 3, a double crochet right into the same space. I'm going to do this one more time. So you're going to chain 4, 3, 4, skip 6 chains, which is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right into the 7th you're going to go with your V stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 3, 3, and then another double crochet right into that very same space. So the pattern is worked, this particular row is worked with chain 4, a V stitch, chain 4, a V stitch, and all the available just in the instructions. So you're going to chain 4, skip 6, and then into the 7th with a V stitch, chain 4, skip 6 into the 7th with a V stitch. So I'm going to continue this up until I have my last set of 7 chains, and I'll show you guys how we can go about to end that off. So right here I have actually come to the end of almost the end of my row, because I have my last 7 sets of chains right there. And to seal this off, you're just going to go ahead and chain 4 as usual. So instead of doing the V stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, we are going to go ahead and repeat the same thing we did for the beginning. Remember at the beginning we did skip 4 chain and then double crochet into the 5th one. Again, I told you guys this is a double crochet, chain 1, a double crochet. So we are going to go ahead after chaining 4, instead of doing the V stitch, we are going to go ahead and do a double crochet right into this last chain right there. Instead of chaining 1, we are chaining 3, we are going to chain 1, and then right into this very same space we are going to go with another double crochet. So this basically balances everything off. So like at the beginning we have double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and right here we have double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and right at the center we only have V stitches. So this completes our first row, right? To get started with the shell row, which in this case just completes 1 shell, you're going to go ahead and chain 3, turn your work, and right into this same space we are going to go with 3 more double crochets, which is 1, 2, 3. So what this actually means is the chain 3 actually serves like 1 double crochet. So now we have 4 double crochet right at the beginning of this row, and right where we did our chain 4 we are going to go ahead and do a single crochet in this space right there, and right into our V stitch we are going to go ahead and do 7 double crochets into this V stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right here we have 4 double crochets, single crochet into this chain 4, and then a 7 double crochet into the V stitch. So right into this chain 4 we are going to go again with another single crochet, and right into this V stitch we are going to go with 7 double crochets, all in the same space. Right there. So I'm going to repeat this pattern up until the very end. So whenever I get to the chain 4, I'm going to single crochet, and whenever I get into my V stitch I'm going to go ahead and do 7 double crochets all in the same space. So right here I have my shells complete. So again I have one last chain 4 space and then my last set of double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. It's a bit dark, but I hope you guys understand. So right here I'm going to go again and do my last single crochet. So remember at the beginning of this row we did chain 3 and then 3 double crochet in the same space. So we are going to repeat the same right there, because this chain 3 double crochet is the same as 4 double crochets. So instead of doing 7 double crochets that we've been doing in each V stitch, we are going to go ahead and do 4 double crochets right into this last space right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here you can see that the row is complete. We did 4 double crochets at the beginning and 4 double crochet at the end. So to get started, so we've completed one shell. Again, like I mentioned, I am doing a total of 9 shells for the upper part of this panel, which is for my shoulder right onto under my bust area. Again, it might be different for different sizes, so I would advise you to take your measurement from right over your shoulder, right from your shoulder up until you're on the bust area. So again, to get started with the next row, we are going to go ahead and chain 4, 3, 4, and this chain 4 serves like as double crochet chain 1. You're going to go ahead and turn, and right into the same space you're going to go with another double crochet, which basically is a double crochet chain 1 double crochet right in that space. So from here we are going to go ahead and chain 4, and right into this 4th double crochet. Remember we did a total of 7 double crochets in this V stitch. Right here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are going to go right at the center, which in this case, because it's 7, the center is going to be right into this 4th double crochet right there, because we have 3 at the side and then 3 at the side and then the 1 at the center. So right into that center we are going to go in with a double crochet after chaining 4, right into this 4th double crochet in this set of 7 double crochets. We are going to go with a double crochet, chain 3, a double crochet, which is the V stitch pattern that we did for the previous rows. So right here we have a chain 4 of V stitch right into this set of 7 double crochets. So you're going to chain 4 again, 3, 4, and right into the 4th double crochet in this set of set of 7 double crochets. You're going to go with a V stitch, which is double crochet, chain 3, a double crochet right into that same space. So I'm going to repeat the pattern. So I'm going to chain 4 whenever I'm done with a V stitch, and then right into the 7th, into the 4th double crochet on the 7th set of double crochet, I'm going to go with my V stitch. So I'm going to repeat this up until the last shell, and then I'll come back and show you guys how we can end this off. So right here I just finished my last set of V stitch right on top of my 7th set of double crochet. So to end this off, I'm going to go ahead and chain 4 as well. And remember at the beginning we did chain 4 double crochet, which is chain 1 double crochet, chain 1 double crochet. We're going to repeat the same pattern right here. So right at this last stitch right there, I'm going to go with a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet right into the same space. So this actually completes the second set of V stitch. So to get started with a second set of shell stitch, we are going to go ahead and chain 3, and right into this very same space we are going to go with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So this is a chain 3, 3 double crochet, which is the same as 4 double crochet right into this first space. And into this chain 4 space we are going to go ahead and do a single crochet like we did from the previous shell pattern, and right into this V stitch we are going to go ahead and do 7 double crochets. So after my 7 sets of double crochets, I'm just going to go ahead and single crochet in the chain 4 space and then another set of 7 double crochets. So I'm going to repeat this shell pattern up until the very last face stitch and then I'll seal this off. So right here I'm actually at the end, so I'm going to go ahead and do my last single crochet right there. And remember, because we did a chain 3 double crochet, 3 double crochets, we are going to go ahead and repeat the same thing, which is 4 double crochets right into this last space right there. So basically this is the pattern for the shell. So we have a row of V-stitch and then afterwards we have a shell stitch, shell row, which actually completes one shell. So again, I have 2 shells complete. I'm going to go ahead and do 7 more shells, which is going to complete my measurement for my shoulders to on my underbust area. And I am going to use my 3.5, continue to use my 3.5 for this remaining 7 shells. So you're going to switch back and forth with the V row and then a shell row until you have a desired length. Again, like I said, it might be different for every size. You probably wouldn't need 9 shells to get the desired length. So go ahead and take your measurement from your shoulder to your underbust and see how long or how many shells you would actually need. In this case, 2 shells is actually almost 3 inches, because again the pattern of the stitch actually stretches, so keep that in mind as well, because it's going to be a fitted dress. You want it to be very stretchy on your body. So as much as you're doing rows, shells, set of shells, just keep in mind that it's stretchy, and also keep that in mind while when you take your measurements. So I'm going to go ahead and do 7 more rows of shells, and then I'll come back and show you guys how we can go about the waist area for the pattern. So right here I have my 9 rows of shell, my 9 set of shells, sorry, and that is a total of 10 inches. But again, keep in mind that this pattern stretches very well, so when it stretches it goes all the way to 15. So again, keep that in mind when you're working your shells, just so you know it stretches and you would like it to stretch on your body. So keep the stretchiness in mind. So after my 9 set of shells with my 3.5 millimeter, I am now going to switch to a 2.5 millimeter, because this 9 shells basically is for my shoulder right under my bust area. So right after my bust area is where my waist, obviously the waist starts. So for that reason we are switching to 2.5, because this is going to make the pattern, the stitches, a bit tighter. Again, we are still going to have the same amount of shells that we have for this 9 set right to the next set of stitches. The only difference is going to be there is going to be more stretching room for the first 9 sets than the next sets we are going to do, and the tension is going to be a bit tighter, but it's still going to be the same amount of chain and the same process. The only thing you're switching is a 2.5 millimeter. So again, we are going to do the same thing, nothing has changed. You're going to chain 4, because that's what we chain when we want to start a V row, and right into this first space you're going with your double crochet, chain 4, V4, and right into the 7th set of double crochet you're going to go into the 4th with your V stitch, which is double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. Like I said, it's actually the same pattern. I'm just going to continue to do this for a total of, let's see, so I am going to do this for a total of 6 shells. So 6 shells, I shall have a total of 15 shells with my 2.5, which I'm going to go ahead and switch back into my 3.5, because then I'm going to work the pattern from my waist down to right on top of my hips area. So I'm going to work my 6 shells, and then I'll come back and show you guys, so you can see the 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 difference between using a 3.5 and a 2.5 millimeter basically. So coming right up, I have my 6 rows with my 2.5 complete. So again, you can at this point you can actually see how snatched this is, because again we did use the 2.5, and then the stretchiness is also not as stretchy as the rest. So again, at this point the length is a total of 16, and again this stretches all the way, so also keep that in mind. So from here on, I'm just going to go ahead and switch back to my 3.5. So the reason why I'm switching back to 3.5 instead of going right into 4.4 millimeter, because this is what we are going to use for the hips area, is because I feel like when if I switch right from 2.5 right into 4 without switching back to 3.5, it is going to make it too wide. So for that reason, I'm going to switch to my 3.5, and I'm going to do this for 2 shells. So I'm basically going to continue the same pattern, but then I'm going to do for 2 shells, and then I'm going to switch back to my 4 millimeter and do that for another 4 shells. So I'm going to go ahead and do that 6 sets of shells, and then I'll come back and show you guys, so you can see the wideness of the shells when you switch to a 4 millimeter, which is supposed to be for your hips area. So coming up right here, I just finished my 2 rows of 3 with 3.5, and then my 4 rows with 4 millimeter, and this is how it looks. Again, you can see the changes in the sizes of shell as you go. So this is how it looks at the moment. Let me see, just so you guys can have an idea of how the difference between the switch with between the hooks. So with the measurement at this point, it is a total of 24 inches, but then keep in mind that it stretches all the way. So right here is 24 inches, but again it stretches all the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch back to my 3.5 millimeter, and I'm going to continue to do rows of shell stitch until I have my desired length. So guys, right here I have my shells complete. So again, I did a total of 44 shells, and that is a total of 53 inches. So that's the desired length that I'm going for. Finishing both panels, you're going to make sure you align both panels together well, like lay them flat on the surface. So this is me just making sure that the bottom part is at the bottom and that the upper part is at the upper part, because as you can see, we ended up with a shell row, which is fine. So now I'm just going to make sure I lay this flat and add the other panel right on top of the front panel, whatever, because they are both the same anyway. So at this point, we are going to decide how wide we want the neckline to be, and also decide how wide we want the armhole to be. Decide how wide you would want the neckline to be. You can either put the pattern or the panel across your body just so you can decide around your neckline and see how wide you want it to be. But I am too lazy, so I just sometimes just I mark and just decide where I want it to be. In this clip, you would see that I'm trying to figure out how wide I want my neckline to be. I later on went ahead and actually took everything off around the neckline because it was way too tight and it couldn't go past my head, my big head. So I would suggest you do this across your body and just make sure you have it a bit wide so it can go through your neck, because mine couldn't and I had to go back and take that side off. I decided to go 3 shells from the outside on both ends inwards just so I can take my measurement. So this is just me counting how many shells I have in total just so I can divide that and equal, and also so I can have an equal shells on both sides when I decide to sew both ends together. Again, like I mentioned, that was a bit too tight for me, so I did go ahead and just take out a bit of it. So again, just eye mark where you want yours to be. As you can see, I did mine on the third, right after the third shell, but it was a bit too tight, so I did go back. So keep in mind on how you can go about doing that for your own size and your own neckline. So after deciding where you want to start sewing single crocheting together or slip stitch together, you're just going to attach your yarn. That's me attaching my yarn right at the center, and I'm just going to make sure I single crochet my way to the opposite end because we are going to leave an opening right at the center where the neckline should be. So you're just going to make sure you single crochet both sides and make sure it's the same measurement, the right and the left has the same amount of shells, so you have a equal and your neckline is straight. So you're basically going to do that, and then you're going to do the same thing for your sleeves basically. So you're going to take your armpit hole measurement and decide how wide you want your sleeve to be, and then you're going to take your measurement right from your shoulder or right at the top of your panels up until the end and take your measurement. Don't forget to divide the measurement by two again because they are both panels, two panels. So you're going to divide your armpit hole measurement by two, and then you're just going to take a measurement and mark where you want to single crochet. So from where your measurement stops, you're going to single crochet up until the very end of your dress, depending on how long your dress is. So for the So guys, right here I have both sides complete, and as you can see I already did one sleeve. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna get sleeve done, but again I decided to do just a short sleeve to just cover my a bit. Again, this is optional, you do not have to, but I will go ahead and show you guys how I did this sleeve. And also we are going to go ahead and attach a yarn and just go around the neckline with double crochet just so we can make that solid. So for the sleeve, I'm just going to take my yarn and attach it right at the bottom, which is this is going to be under your armpit area. So I think this is the best part to attach your yarn when you're starting a sleeve, because then it's like under your armpit area, nobody will actually get to see it. So I'm just going to make a secure knot. So for the sleeve, what we're going to do is you're going to go all around with single crochets, because that is going to set the base for your actual sleeve. So while going around with your single crochets, you're going to remember that we are going to repeat the same pattern for the sleeve, which is the shell pattern, the open shell pattern. And of course the open shell pattern works with multiple of 7 plus 5. The 5 in this case will not be necessary, just a multiple of 7 will be fine, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that. But again, you have to keep that in mind when you're going all around the sleeve with single crochets. So for this sleeve that I already did, I had a total of 57 single crochets at the end when I got to the end, and 57 basically means like multiple of 7, which is 56 plus the extra one that I had. So I'm going to make sure I do the same thing for the opposite sleeve. So if you're doing this for the first time, you just have to make sure while you're single crocheting you're counting in multiples of 7, so you have multiple of 7 basically. So coming right at the area where I attached my yarn. So at this point I have a total of 65 single crochets around. Again, it's not a problem because I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how you can just work your pattern around the 65 single crochets. So right there I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch right where I did my attach my yarn right there. It's black, so if this is too difficult for you to see what I'm doing, I would link the other video that I have with this pattern and also a sleeve attached to the top, so you can check that out because that will be a better option for you. But I just wanted to show you guys again how I add sleeve to this. So to get started with the sleeve, remember we did chain. We are going to work the V stitch, the V row, and then we go ahead and do the shell row. So to get started with the V row, remember we did chain 4, sorry, and then we went ahead and did double crochet right into that same space, which basically is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet right there. And we are going to go ahead and chain 4 and skip 6 chains, 6 single crochet in this case, and in the 7th single crochet we are going to go with a V stitch. Right there we are going to go with a V stitch, which is double crochet, chain 3, double crochet right into the same space basically. And now we are going to chain 4 again, skip 6 single crochets into the 7th with the V stitch. Right there with a V stitch, which is double crochet, chain 3, double crochet right into the same space. So I'm going to repeat the V stitch pattern up until the very end, and then I'll show you guys how I can go. You can seal that off to start the shell row of the sleeve. So coming right at the the beginning of the first V pattern, or the beginning of the V pattern right there, I'm going to go ahead and chain my 4, 2, 3, 4. So at this point I should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets in between the end of the row and the beginning of the first row. So in this case we are not going to do another V stitch. We are just going to go, after chaining 4, right into this chain 4 that we did, we are going to go into the 3rd chain with a slip stitch right there. So this actually completes the row. We are going to ignore the fact that we have 5 here because again I did end up with not a multiple of 7, so it doesn't really matter. It's not visible basically. And from here, to get started with the shell stitch, we are basically going to do the same pattern, which is chain 3 and 3 double crochet into the same space, which actually gives you a total of 4 double crochet because the chain 3 is the same as a double crochet. And right from here we are going to slip stitch into the chain 4 space, and into this first V stitch we are going to go with a 7 double crochet, and into this chain 4 space we are going to go with a single crochet, and into this chain V stitch, sorry, we are going to go with a 7 double crochet. And after our 7 double crochet we are going to go ahead and slip single crochet into the V stitch. So I'm basically going to repeat this pattern, and anytime I get to the V stitch I'm going to do 7 double crochet, and when I get into my chain 4 space I'm going to do a single crochet all around, and then I'll show you guys how you can seal the shell stitch off and get started with the V stitch again. And right here I'm coming to the last V stitch, last chain 4 stitch, so I'm going to go ahead and single crochet right there. So to seal this row, shell row off, we are just going to slip stitch right into the top of the chain 3. Remember we did a chain 3 and then 4 double crochet. So right into this top of this chain 3, we are going to go ahead and slip stitch into it. So this actually just completes the row. So to get started with the shell with the V-stitch row again, you're just going to chain 4 and a double crochet right into that same space, chain 4 and double crochet into the 4th double crochet in the set of 7 double crochets. So you're basically repeating the same pattern like we did for the entire dress, but again just remember that you're doing the chain 4, sorry, double crochet, and right after that for the next row you're doing the chain 3 double crochets, and then chain 4 1 double crochet. Basically you're going to repeat this until you have your desired sleeve length. Mine is going to be just 4 shells because I don't want my sleeve to be long. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you guys how you can go about the neckline. And the neckline is basically actually easy. You're just going to attach your yarn right here and single crochet all around and then seal it off. So basically that's the tutorial for this dress. So I'm going to finish my sleeve and then I'll give you guys a clip of how everything looks, and then I guess I'll see you guys in my next video.